Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:33, and the Foo Fighters with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Where's the microphone? There it is.
Well, there it is.
So that
Might be important.
that
to
might
us.
be important to us.
Now, who would have put it over there?
It was probably me on Friday. I just forget where it is. It's gonna be rainy today, but with a high of 62. Tomorrow's the pick of the week. Sunny and a high of 51. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
Got a lot going on today. We've got Scott Cohen coming up after 7 o'clock. There's loads of sports to talk to him about. Also, tickets to see the Chicago Total Access Show at 52 Sumner on April 5th. I believe that's this weekend.
Sweet.
And then also tickets to the Brimfield Brew Fest. We'll give you all the details of that.
Sweet. And what else is going on? Oh, we got the guy from the Westfield River races coming on this morning to talk about that. That's coming up in like 2 weeks. So that'll be fun.
It's a busy show.
I'm going to ask him if he can build a canoe out of all the nip bottles that I found yesterday on my walk along the Westfield River.
I'm sure they're all quite buoyant.
Probably.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert.
102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:53 and the great Steve Miller on Rock 102.
It's going to be, see all the good things we can't talk about on the radio.
Trust me, folks, you didn't want to hear that one.
It's going to be rainy today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call Western Mass Masons for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
And what a way to start off a Monday with Hollywood Trash. Jessica Simpson drinks a Chinese herb cocktail to preserve her voice. It was recommended by her vocal coach, and at first she didn't know what was in it. But a friend hit up Google and discovered it contains snake sperm. And not like Kurt Russell in Escape from New York snake sperm.
No, right.
Like an actual from the snake.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do you get it out of the snake?
That's what I want to know about it.
Because
Yeah.
they don't appear to have anything
Well,
visually available.
I don't know, but that hasn't stopped her from using it. She posted an Instagram video where she's drinking it straight from the bottle. She said, if you want a good vocal, you got to drink snake sperm. This is why she gets more likes than I do on my videos.
Well, I'm sure if you drank something similar to that, you'd get some likes.
I'm sorry, were they all out of reptile nut lattes at Starbucks that you had to resort to snake sperm tea? Reptile nut latte for Jessica? I wonder if that has a nice message on the side of the cup, too.
By the way, no dairy.
No dairy. None. No, she's lactose intolerant.
She won't stand for it.
Chapel Rowan, she is under fire for insulting parents with young children. During her recent interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she said, all of my friends who have kids are in hell. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has like a 1-year-old, 3 and under, 4 and 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who is happy, anyone who is a light in their eye, or anyone who has slept. Why did my parents do this? And not surprisingly, the negative comments started piling up. Imagine being one of those friends that confide in her about being an exhausted parent, only for her to share it to the world in a negative way on the internet. She talks like she's in high school. I feel like Chapel speaks like an overly confident 19-year-old. Chapel Rowan is a mean girl with extremely negative energy, and I'm tired of pretending she's not. There's even a TikTok trend of moms posting happy videos with their kids with Chapel's comments playing over them.
Well, I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If she feels as though she'd be better off dancing at the Pink Pony Club, then that's her business.
You know, I can imagine that her friends who have children that have confided in her will no longer be Chapel's friend anymore.
Probably not.
Because, I mean, think about it. Every parent has gone through, you know, a tough time, especially when they're young and they're new, and, you know, it's not a walk in the park. But you need somebody to kind of, commiserate with and at least, kind of talk to about it.
Someone you can trust, and Chapel Rowan will not be one of those people.
Who does she think she is?
I don't know.
You know what? What'll be funny? When she finally has a kid. Because her mind's going to change eventually later when she's older. She'll think, I want to have a kid. And then she's going to be eating her words.
Wait till she sees how many people turn her back on when they're on her when she's looking for help.
Yeah.
Oh, can I get a babysitter? No. You're on your own.
It didn't seem like Morgan Wallen enjoyed his time on SNL as the musical guest this past weekend. First, it was the promos they posted hyping the show, where Morgan couldn't have looked less interested, leading a lot of fans to calling them cringe. Their performances were fine. He sang Just in Case and I'm the Problem, which is the title of his new album due out on May 16th. But it was what happened at the end of the show that's got everybody talking. Usually when the show is over, the host and the musical guest say goodnight and everybody stays on stage and mingles with each other as the credits roll. The host was recent Oscar winner Mikey Madison. Mikey and Morgan hugged, and she turned around to talk to the cast, but I guess Morgan had enough at that moment because instead of joining the cast, he just walked off directly out towards the camera and into the audience. A few of the cast members seemed kind of amused by it, and then on his Instagram stories not long after, he posted a photo of his private jet with the caption, "Get me to God's country." To be fair, sources close to Morgan say it was an honest mistake and he meant nothing by it. Maybe Morgan would rather just be at home in Tennessee than New York City.
Maybe he's never seen the show before.
Can't blame him for that. Well, it
was weird. It was. I don't know if you saw it. It was weird, but it's like I'm not gonna. The last thing I'm gonna do when I see something like that is to grab my cell phone and start tweeting about it.
Well, you know what you're getting into. Why would you agree to an appearance on a show? He's big enough where he can refuse to be on something. He doesn't need to be on a show like that if he feels like he's not,
or unless he committed, thought it was going to be a great experience. It wasn't, and then he said, to hell with this.
I don't know.
I want to go back to God's country.
I thought, where is God's country?
Athol, I thought.
I was going to say Greenfield, but pretty close.
Close enough.
Yeah. Viola Davis admits she was judgmental when she saw Chadwick Boseman getting special treatment on the set of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She had no idea he was dying of cancer at the time. She's probably standing there going, look at Mr. Big Shot over here, getting everything that he wants.
Viola, he's got cancer.
Whatever. That does have to be kind of like one of those, I have to eat a big slice of humble pie the next day when you find out the truth.
We've all found ourselves in similar situations.
Roger Daltrey says he's going blind and deaf, but his pinball game is gonna be whack.
Oddly enough, that's the first time someone has drawn the parallel that I've seen.
What about?
But I'm losing his sight.
Yeah.
But nobody on the internet that I saw mentioned pinball.
That was like one of their top hits.
I know.
How could anybody not reference that? So, what somebody referenced was My Generation. Hope I die before I get old.
Hope I die before I go blind. Well, in this case, it's the pinball.
I guess so.
Good job.
Kim Kardashian revealed she had a problem with acne. Her skin used to be all gooey and oily.
Just had something to say.
Oh my God, the last time my skin was this oily and gooey was when Ray J used his boner baguette to cover me in Nadberry cream egg in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Caitlin?
Well, so close to Easter, Kim. I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once had her tug on my aardvark's nose. I took a ride in the gooey tuna tunnel.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is it looked like a stringing mushroom to the mouth that came out like an oyster out of the nose. You could see me on Stupid Human Tricks back in the 90s with David Letterman. You remember that?
I do. Well, I don't remember that trick.
You never saw the... Well, they cut it out. They couldn't, I was bumped from the end of the show.
Probably for the best.
And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Benefits, including...
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of streakiness going on lately with some of our local sports teams. Celtics have won 8 games in a row, winning 21 out of the last 25 games. Bruins, on the other hand, have lost 8 in a row, losing 16 out of the last 20. But the most disturbing streak that happens right now is the 10-year, $313 million contract that Rafael Devers is working on with the Red Sox. Why? Well, perhaps it has something to do with the fact that in spite of his $27 million a year salary, Rafael Devers has become the first Major League player in recorded history to bang out 12 strikeouts in the first 4 games of any season. Since 1901, no player in history started off the first 4 games of a season with less production than this guy, the second highest paid player on the team. How bad of a start is Devers off to? Well, in 16 at-bats, he's not only accumulated 12 strikeouts, he's also currently sitting on a batting average of 0. You know who else has a 0.00 batting average for the Red Sox? The pitchers. Listen, I know that hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and off-speed pitches is difficult to do, and it requires a certain level of eye-hand coordination, speed, vision, balance, and fluid motion that ensures the greatest contact. Rafael Devers is doing nothing more than swinging a big bag of horse crap at nearly every unhittable pitch that gets thrown his way. And frankly, it's getting very hard to watch. And there's still 158 games left to go. Now, some may wonder if there's some sort of mechanical issue, or others may wonder if he's hurt or has the yips or bitter about being the designated hitter. Truth is, he's not designated to hit anything right now except the bench. The dude's not even getting his uniform dirty. The good news is that there's still a chance he might get a hit one of these days, you know, like he did back in the olden days, like October. Until that happens, it's going to be painful to watch, like a snuff film, only without all the side-splitting hilarity. But it's getting close. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Sure, you can paint the house, but get some help. Go see Steve-O at the Liberty Street Rockies. Pro painting crews count on Steve-O. He can help you with your pro painting tricks and advice, too. Good people, rock-solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:16 and Hart with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rainy day today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
Scott Cohen's going to join us next hour. We're going to talk about some baseball, some basketball, some other things, and then also your chance to win a bunch of stuff. Chicago Total Access, one of the bands coming to 52 Sumner this weekend. We'll have tickets to that show and also tickets to the Brimfield Brew Fest, which is coming up around the 12th of April. So keep listening for that for your chance to win and win big stuff.
Big stuff.
Big, fat stuff.
So I had a pretty good weekend.
Did you?
Yeah. I wound up performing in the Catskills.
Oh, so what is this, like 1958?
Yeah, I felt like nobody puts Nagle in the corner. They put him on stage at an Irish bar in East Durham, New York. That's what they do.
You weren't staying at like one of the big resorts.
This was a resort, and I could have stayed there, but I chose not to. I chose to come home because it was only about an hour and 45 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what am I going to do? Get up in the morning and then drive back? I might as well just drive home, because I had like massive amounts of caffeine going there.
Sure.
So and his show is over like around 9:30, well 10 o'clock probably, and I'm like, I'll be home by midnight. I can do this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Easy.
But talk about being somewhere out in the middle of nowhere.
Now, out of total curiosity, I'm sure the answer is no. Did anybody out there have any idea who you were?
No, and that's okay, and that's actually a good thing because that helps me.
There are people in Westfield once a month for a $20 comedy show that aren't sure who you are.
No, I'm pretty sure they know who I am out there.
I don't know,
out
Steve.
In those parts, but no, that's actually a good thing for me because I'm working on developing this whole thing, and it helps me. You can't do local material when you're out there.
It's good for a guy like you to know that you can make a crowd of total strangers laugh.
Yeah.
As opposed to the local crowd that just laughs because you're a beloved radio icon.
Yeah.
And they're laughing to make you feel good because they feel like you're part of the family.
Well, they listen to you every day, and they're like,
right.
That's a familiar voice.
Right.
And I got to tell you, it was a little difficult in the beginning to rope these people in. But then once you kind of get them on something, then you.
Was it that Ovaltine bit?
No, it was that Gaza Strip joke with the like Trump wanting to turn the Gaza into the condominiums. I said I liked that idea because, if anything's going to solve thousands of years of religious turmoil, it's a homeowners association. Because those people are ruthless.
I know.
Yeah,
They'll squash any insurrection.
But yeah, because I do as I'm not a political guy and I could care less about, I'm more of the observer of watching people argue with each other online all the time. It's crazy how people throw insults at each other over something that they can't even control. And that my is like, I'm just sitting there with that Michael Jackson in the Thriller movie eating the popcorn, watching it go back and forth because everybody thinks they're right about something,
right?
When they really have no control or idea of what's really going on,
or they don't understand the nuances of the problem.
Right,
that happens a lot too.
Right, it's a knee-jerk reaction to something that it doesn't matter.
For example, I don't know anybody that's actually an expert in tariffs. But yet suddenly we've all become experts on tariffs.
I don't know nothing about tariff. I know taffy. I know a lot about taffy.
I like saltwater taffy. That is delicious.
If you gave me that, I could probably do a good five minutes on taffy. The way it sticks to the roof of your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
The sea salt one, the one from Atlantic City is really good.
You ever pull your taffy? You get a good taffy tossing?
Oh, yeah, taffy. Yeah, when I do that, it's like it is like silly putty.
I bet it is.
You stretch it out and push it against the newspaper.
It bounces.
Yeah, look, handicaps on your fig pouch. Look at you, right? So I don't do a whole lot of that stuff. It was just that bit, and that actually kind of brings people in a little bit because you don't really care. I don't really care about any of this.
But you do care about a homeowners association. And that always gets laughs.
Hey, listen, who hasn't dealt or knows somebody in the 6 degrees of separation that had to have somebody deal with a homeowners association or a condo manager?
It's not simple.
But anyway, so that was a great show. There was a ton of people that came out to it. It's weird because you're driving out in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. There's no gas stations. There's nothing out there. And then all of a sudden you drive past a livestock auction place and then you get to a little tiny little hamlet and there's a furniture place. Mm-hmm. And then there's Ireland. It's East Durham, New York has got this big Ireland thing going on.
And it's nothing but Irish stuff.
This place was called the Shamrock. What is it called? The
Shamrock Inn?
No, it was called the
Shamrock House.
Shamrock House in East Durham, New York.
That's what it is.
And it was pretty cool. There was quite a few people out there. They were all out there having a good night out. I got the gig because some headliner backed out at the last minute. He had a death in the family. Hey, I'm like the grievance, the grieving comedian.
You're America's replacement.
Yes, and so that was fun. And I like I said, coming back, I was like, I'm just gonna go home. There's no reason for me to stay.
If you're an hour from your house,
hour and 45 minutes.
Still, I mean, you can make that trip easy.
Listen, I just I put on my 90s pop music. I sing it to the top of my lungs to keep me awake the whole ride home, and boom.
Yeah.
Once you get through Backstreet Boys Millennium, you're already in Lee.
It's like it shortens all the distance.
But this weekend I'm going to be at the Munich House over in Chicopee.
Oh, and we talked to the headliner last week.
Yeah, comedian Tracy Locke's gonna headline that show. I'll be doing the middle act. There's another guy called Rick Fink, and it's hosted by Gary Marino. Which, let me tell you, if you haven't seen this guy, you got to come out and see this guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do tell.
No, I'll let you surprise yourself. But this is a great deal. It's a VIP dinner buffet and show. I'm not sure what the VIP is.
Very important plates.
Yeah, but it's $50 if you want the dinner.
Very impressive portions. That's what it means.
Well, it's $50 if you want the dinner and the show, and they got the schnitzel over there.
Listen, everything on that menu at the Munich House is good. Everything.
They got it going on. Now, if you don't want to do the dinner, It's only $25, and you get a great night out, and it's right there in Chicopee. You don't have to go very far, and you can get tickets at hotmicevents.com.
Hot Mice Fence?
I think it's supposed to be hotmikeevents.com.
That's probably what it is.
But I'm more of the, watching. I used to watch the mice run up the poles down at the Mardi Gras down there.
Sure.
So I think it's hotmicevents.
Well, you got to give those little suckers room to breathe.
Yeah, so you can get tickets for that on that show, and it'd be good to see you out there.
It's 6:24 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
If you're
Pat Kelly and the Rock 102 Road Crew, along with Coors Light and Miller Lite at Tap Sports Bar at MGM Springfield on Saturday from 6 to 8. Watch the round of 4 and the basketball games. Pat and the Road Crew will have your chance to win some great prizes. It's Saturday at Tap at MGM from 6 to 8 with Pat Kelly, Coors Light, and Miller Lite, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
All right. Do you want to laugh or something?
Yeah, well, that would be great.
Well,
Keep the show moving. I mean, I don't have anything to really share with you that much.
You don't?
Not really. I mean, it's not much to tell.
What do you mean? There's not much. There's always something to tell. What did you do yesterday?
Well, let's see. I went grocery shopping.
We don't have time.
It's Bax and Nagle's joke of the day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
See, I slept great. I don't want to go back to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, let's see. 3 women die in an accident and go to heaven.
This is a joke, right?
It gets funny, maybe. When they get there, St. Peter says, we only have one rule here in heaven. Don't step on the ducks, right? So they enter heaven, and sure enough, there's ducks everywhere.
Okay.
Lots of ducks. It's almost impossible not to step on a duck, and although they try their best to avoid them, the first woman accidentally steps on one, and along comes St. Peter with the ugliest man she's ever seen. And St. Peter chains them together and says, your punishment for stepping on a duck is to spend eternity chained to this ugly bastard. He might not have used that kind of language, but
Right.
suspensive disbelief.
Of course.
Yeah. And the next day, the second woman accidentally steps on a duck, and along comes St. Peter, who doesn't miss a thing. With him is another extremely ugly man. He chains them together with the same admonishment as the first woman. The third woman has observed all of this, and not wanting to be chained for all eternity to an ugly man, is very, very, very careful where she steps, right?
Okay.
She manages to go months without stepping on any ducks, but one day St. Peter comes up to her with the most handsome man she's ever seen. Somebody she's laid on, never had her eyes laid on somebody so hot.
Yeah.
Very tall, long eyelashes, muscular,
Sure.
thin. St. Peter chains them together without saying a word, and the happy woman says, I wonder what I did to deserve to be chained to you for all of eternity. And the guy goes, I don't know about you, but I just stepped on a duck. Because she's the ugly one. Yeah. But hey, at least she's got something going on there. Yeah.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic.
6:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Aquatique Pools with free water testing every day, Union Street in West Springfield. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A driver was arraigned in connection with striking and killing 3 construction workers on I-91 in West Springfield early Friday morning. In a news conference held by Hamden DA Anthony Gallooni, 3 workers were working to repair damaged guardrails on I-91 North when at approximately 12:45 a.m., a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee took exit 10A at a high rate of speed and struck and killed the 3 men. The Jeep came to a rest on its roof in the middle of the ramp. Sorry, just got stuck here on the story. The driver ran away from the crash, and it was determined that the vehicle was registered to 29-year-old Bilal Griffith of West Springfield. A multi-agency search involving state police, West Springfield police, K-9 units, and the Air Wing helicopter found Griffith on Morgan Road after a chase that continued for over a half a mile. The victims were identified as 26-year-old Igor Costa of Marlboro, 48-year-old Ryan Almeida of Brockton, and 57-year-old Raul Borquez of Brockton. The men worked for a company called Premier Fence. Griffith was arraigned in Springfield District Court on Friday for 3 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of leaving the scene of a personal injury or death. Not guilty plea was entered on his behalf, and bail was set at $1 million. A status conference is scheduled for April 2nd. Gallooni stated that with the assistance of the Mass Police Air Wing, K-9, and dozens of law enforcement officers, the suspect was observed by a sergeant of Mass Police assigned to his office. Chase continued for over a half a mile. But what a horrible story.
It was, I remember we were talking about it a lot last week. It's like, after I read about it afterwards, like, this is even worse than I thought.
Well, and this is what I was talking about these people driving, they don't care just how fast they're going. A guy that cut me off last week coming down on 91 South, cutting over 3 lanes at 5 o'clock in the morning just to get off at that Hall of Fame exit. Like, you didn't have to speed up. You could have just gotten behind me and then easily gotten off the highway. But people don't seem to give a shiznit about that.
No, they don't. But
a man has died Saturday morning after being struck by a train in the area of Fieldston Street. Springfield Police Department spokesman Ryan Walsh said that officers received a report of a pedestrian being hit by a train at approximately 10 a.m. on Saturday. Officers arrived at the train tracks in the area behind the 100 block of Fieldston Street where the victim was found. The victim passed away from his injuries at the location. The Springfield Police Department Detective Bureau is currently investigating the incident, and 22 News said they'll provide more updates, but
you never know.
I'm not banking on that.
How often does that happen? Where someone will get hit.
It happens a lot more often than not.
That's what I was led to believe. That this does happen quite a bit.
Mostly, I think. I mean, there is an unfortunate a high rate of suicide that tends to happen. I'm not saying that about this particular case, but there's also people who are just, they don't pay attention and they they want to cut through and they walk over the tracks, and it's not a good idea.
I'm not trying to start any conspiracies here, but like you a while back you said that like train derailments happen all the time, but you don't hear about the small ones. You only hear about the ones where the trains are off the track and there's there's environmental damage or whatever.
Yeah, the big giant ones that happen, like the one out in Ohio a couple of years ago.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
where you hear about that. You don't hear about the ones that used to happen almost every day in West Springfield. But again, they're minor. They're not. It's not like something that caused a lot of damage. Like the guy backs down the track and they got those derailer things and nobody was looking, and the thing comes off the train, and then how come this taking a little extra push to get this down the track, Gil? That's usually what happens.
And does Gil have an answer?
No, Gil's taking a break. He's on
having coffee,
union time. Yeah,
having a cigarette.
Yeah. Protesters held signs across the state ahead of Karen Reed's second murder trial. A jury selection for Karen Reed's second trial starts tomorrow. Standouts took place across the country. Across the country?
Yeah.
Wow. A group for supporters held signs outside of Hampshire County District Court on Sunday demanding justice for the suspected murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Denise Paquin of Barry is an advocate for Reed. She expressed her disappointment with the outcome of the first trial, pointing to what she believed were inconsistencies in the state's case.
You really had like two protesting opportunities over the weekend. You're going to protest the trial, or you're going to go to a Tesla dealership and cause problems. Those are your two opportunities all weekend.
Well, I mean, everybody's got their thing. Where you can find me?
Where?
Far away from all of it.
I'll be joining you.
I don't understand why they didn't come back with a not guilty verdict, Paquin said. To me, there seemed to be an awful lot of discrepancies. Protests were also seen in other communities around the state. Reed's second trial will also come with a change in her counsel. Victoria George, an alternate juror to Reed's first trial, will now be added as one of her attorneys. There you go. Hey, I know you. Didn't I see you every day during that trial? Yes, I'm the juror.
Now, are you one of those people that had me walking out of here for a free woman?
I would imagine she would have to have been, because I can't imagine somebody who is, oh, no, she's guilty. Oh, yeah, let's hire you for her defense team.
That's weird to me.
What?
That you would hire a former juror of your first trial to represent you in your next trial.
Yeah, listen, man.
And I don't know if I'm sure it's maybe happened. I've never heard of it happening.
Reed's defense claims she's being framed for the murder. Some supporters of the Free Karen Reed movement believe the police are the root of the framing, and more should be done at the top. I think Colonel Noble really needs to restructure the state police, Paquin said. Prosecutors argue that Reed is the only person who could have killed O'Keefe, and 22 News said they'll provide updates on the whole trial. So we can sit and patiently wait for their dismantling.
Or you could just go on Turtle Boy's website and follow along that way.
Yeah, I was watching. I went back and watched some of that documentary.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, when I say something and then people are like, no, you got to go back and look at it. I still, the demeanor of this woman doesn't seem like somebody who really gives a crap that there's a dead man.
I think it's hard to say for sure.
Oh, of course it's hard to say.
But if I'm sitting on the jury and everything is being presented and like everybody in the house, the cops on scene, everything, there's enough reasonable doubt as a juror for me to say not guilty.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. She's going to get off. It's not going to be one of these, oh my God, hard evidence that she actually did something. But to go to the conspiracy thing with all those people in that house, obviously cops sometimes are not that very smart. If you took that guy, that Proctor, with the example, like they can't keep their mouths shut sometimes. So you're telling me that all those people in that house conspired and not one person has slipped up and said something.
I understand.
That.
I understand.
That doesn't mean, though, that there's not nefarious behavior going on from those people. Two things can be true. I've said this all along. She could have definitely hit him, and of course, his friends are a bunch of scumbags.
And then, the other part, and you've been right about this all along, is we should not discount the amount of alcohol that was in everybody in this whole thing except the cops.
Yeah, well, the
amount of alcohol involved in this entire thing,
all of them,
is pretty substantial.
They were all drinking and driving. They were all getting hammered. She was telling you how many drinks she had, and she's a tiny little thing. And for her to say, "I don't black out."
Anybody who's blacking out is not aware they're blacking out.
Yeah, but then, there was another one where it was the daughter of that Jennifer McCabe.
Yeah.
She was being railroaded. She wasn't even in the house. She wasn't anywhere near the house.
I know.
And these people, like, what kind of person are you that you go and harass somebody that has nothing to do with the case? Like, and then Karen Reed and her reaction was like, well, I guess that was witness intimidation, but I'm on trial for my life here. Anybody got a beer or a Jaeger bomb? We can talk about this even more.
I'm so thirsty for some shots.
There's just so much to it, unless you're an actual juror on the case, that's the other thing. You got all these internet sleuths trying to piece together all this stuff. But unless you're actually sitting there watching and listening to all the evidence, that's why the jury was split, because there's so much going on in there that not everybody is getting the information. And, to go on TikTok and see the lady who goes, "Don't tell me you know about Karen Reed. I've been following this case for the whole thing."
The thing about it is, and listen, everyone's got a right to protest. I mean, it is your right to do so, to assemble and to share your opinion. And that's all very well and good.
But you don't have a right to harass people.
You absolutely don't have a right to harass anybody involved in the case. Jurors, witnesses, police, anybody. That's not your right. Your right, you can follow along and you can protest. But the moment you start harassing somebody is the moment you're committing a crime too. And maybe I'm just not passionate enough about anything in life to go that far and bully somebody. But I just wouldn't.
You know what everybody needs to do? Everybody needs to break bread and go to C.F. McCarthy's, have a couple of Jaeger bombs, and call an Uber.
I should have called the Uber.
I should have called Uber or Lyft. How's my sleeves look? Don't get me on Channel 4 in my pajamas.
My ma said I gotta have nice sleeves if I'm gonna be on television. I don't want to be in my pajamas on Channel 4.
A man in Portland, Oregon says that someone keeps leaving gallons of urine inside of his recycling bin. He showed the local news.
Well, where else am I supposed to put it?
The toilet.
It was being used at the time.
He showed the local news 8 large water bottles and juice jugs that are filled with yellowish liquid. He says it's been happening for about 6 months, and he noticed the recycling service refused to take them because urine is a biohazard. Well, how did the recycling guy know it was urine?
Good question.
Is that like one of those taste tests the cops do where they dip their finger in it? And yep, that's it.
The Yukon Cornelius.
Nothing. The guy quit putting his recycling bin out, which did stop the yellow deposits, but then they started showing up in a neighbor's bin. There's surveillance footage of a man leaving the filled bottles in the bins. He drives up in the car, places the bottles in the bins, and then drives off, but it's too grainy to make out who it is or the vehicle's license plate. So why wouldn't you put a camera somewhere else?
Isn't there DNA inside the urine?
Yeah, you got, and that's another thing. Like, no, they're not. The police don't do DNA evidence on something that hasn't caused a bodily injury crime to somebody else. You know, it's not like they don't just dust for fingerprints and things like that if it doesn't require.
You got a guy who's leaving bottles of his own urine all around town. Seems to me it's not that hard to figure out who's doing it.
He's filed a police report, but they said they haven't come up with answers yet. The cops say if they were putting them in the garbage, they wouldn't bother with it. But since it's in the recycling bins, it's a crime, and they're investigating. And meanwhile, he's asking the man to knock it off. He added, quote, "I mean, this guy's really pissing me off." You see what he did there?
Yeah, it's a play on words.
Yeah. How do you not know it's not just Coors Light?
It's sometimes they're indistinguishable from each other.
That's what I'm saying. Why would they take a recycling bin with Coors Light cans in it, but then leave a water bottle filled with urine? It's the same thing.
These are the mysterious questions of life, Steve. I don't think anyone can truly answer.
Going to be rainy today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
To Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:53 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rainy today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
This week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is Eve Barsley from the band Clem Snide, a band that started in Boston, but they have, over the last 30 years, released 10 amazing albums. Eve is one of the great songwriters of his generation, and ain't just me saying that. It's a lot of other people, too. They got a brand new record out that's coming in May. Also, he'll be in Somerville on April 10th, then also in Southbury, Connecticut on the 11th. And it's a really interesting interview, really a poignant guy, and you can hear it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as on the Rock 102 app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Have you, when was the last time you were at a Hooters?
Oh, my God. It's been a long, long time.
Well, if you haven't been to a Hooters in years, you're not alone. They've been struggling to stay afloat, and according to reports...
Really? Because they seem so buoyant.
Well, I see what you did there. According to reports, they're about $300 million in debt, and last year they closed about 40 locations in the U.S., and now they're trying to attract more business by making a pivot to being more family-friendly. They're calling it a re-Hooterization. But it's more like a de-Hooterization.
Uh-huh.
You may not realize this, but Hooters and their offshoots Hoots Wings have become increasingly family-friendly over the past decade and have long had a solid kids menu. But now they're going all in. Ownership says it's depressing to them that women would not want their families going to Hooters, even dads alone. They didn't say exactly what they'd be changing to make it more PG But it's safe to say the skimpy outfits and bikini nights will be phased out.
Oh, come on.
They're also looking to refresh their menu with fresher ingredients.
Oh, no, I like the old ingredients.
Don't you like those wings that come in a greasy box?
I sure do.
Last month, there were reports of Hooters preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that could result in more closings. There are currently 250 locations around the U.S. The one in West Springfield is wide open. It's still in full force.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The funny thing about it is, here they are saying they want to make it more family friendly. When Hooters first came to town, and it was on Congress Street, Springfield, where the old Spaghetti Freddy's, Spaghetti Warehouse used to be.
Yeah, right.
In the first week, around their grand opening, we were down there during a baby shower at a Hooters. You can't get more family friendly than a baby shower at Hooters. That just screams, we're going to be a family.
Were there children in attendance?
No, but there were like old moms and grandmas to be. And,
well, that's fine.
Aunties.
I have nothing against the business, but I wouldn't be, there's not much that would make me want to bring my kids to a Hooters for lunch.
Suppose they were really hungry.
If I go out with the guys, I could go out hanging out down to the Hooters and hang out and have a couple of plates of wings or whatever. But,
but in West Springfield, there are no restaurants on that street at all. There's nowhere to go.
Well, yeah, you're right. There's nothing down there.
It's like tumbleweeds.
I think Cal's is a furniture store, isn't it? Yeah,
they've got furniture in there.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. But yeah, that's not some place I'd be bringing my kids to.
I have never brought my kids to a Hooters.
The only time I've been in there is because of, I think I maybe went with some people once, but most of the time it was our promotions that we were doing down there for the football games and all that other good stuff. But
listen, this is
I don't know.
This sounds like a desperate grab for a desperate grab of life.
It's just a weird thing to ask. Hey, kids, you want to go to Hooters?
Now, I'm sure your 14-year-old boys will say, yeah, Dad, take us to Hooters.
Yeah, but that's different.
But your 14-year-old daughters are going to say,
I'm not doing that.
Is there anywhere else in the world we could go?
Yes. There's plenty of other places.
Just not on Riverdale Street in West Springfield, because there are no other restaurants in the entire area.
So maybe they'll have a petting zoo there. Hey, kid, bring your kids, Dad, or the petting zoo at the Hooters.
They've certainly seen their share of animals.
I'm
that's
sure.
For sure.
Well, they eat right out of your hand.
It's 6:58.
It's the new Mingles.
Oh God, on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, as you know, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to Major League Baseball. I don't like a lot of rules. I don't like a lot of changes, and I certainly don't like when the New York Yankees hit 15 home runs during the course of a single weekend to start off their season. Over the last 3 games, the Yankees outscored the Milwaukee Brewers 36-14, not only crushing the Brewers with rigorous play, but with an onslaught of power so staggering that in simpler times, you would have had people demanding automatic drug testing. This includes Saturday when the Yankees racked up an historic 9 home runs in a single game, 5 of which were against the same pitcher who never saw it coming. How is this possible? Well, according to reports, the Yankees are using a freshly redesigned set of baseball bats that have been carefully engineered to maximize contact with the ball. The new torpedo bats are designed with a tapered barrel that crushes the ball on impact. Now, you might ask, Baxie, how is this any different than corking your bat or filling it with rubber balls or any number of previously illegal modifications? Well, that's what everybody was asking until the league examined the bat and concluded that these bats, despite their unusual design, still meet league specifications, thereby making them legal to use in game-time situations. There's just one small problem with this. The Yankees are currently the only ones using them, at least for now, because you see, the torpedo bat has the potential to completely change the game of baseball. But that's not going to be any good if the only ones using them are the New York Yankees. Seems to me that if a piece of equipment gives a team an advantage, then every team should be using the same piece of equipment. Otherwise, you're just being a bunch of jerks. Jerks who are launching 15 home runs per series. Now, I should like to point out that the Red Sox are not facing the Yankees until June 6th. That gives the Red Sox exactly 67 days to order a new set of bats just to keep up with them. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be in back order, so they might want to get cracking right away. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Get your Scott's 4-step right now at Rocky's. $95 with your Ace Rewards card. Plus, if you spend $150 on Scott's products, you'll get a $25 bonus reward. Plan ahead for lush summer lawn. Get everything now and get a heck of a deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 7:10, and Twisted Sister with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rainy today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51.
Sunny.
It's 42. What?
It's sunny tomorrow. I thought it was rainy all week.
No, tomorr's a good
I mean,
good
I'm
day.
not
I don't know.
doubting
Maybe
you. That just surprised me.
Whatever.
What a delight to welcome him back.
The sun is always shining here on Monday morning at 7:10 with Scott Cohen in the studio.
Oh, thank you for saying that,
Yeah,
Steve.
you're
Oh,
welcome.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Hey, so where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
I want to start with the Yankee bat thing because you guys were going back and forth during the commercial break, and to me, hilarity ensued. You, Steve, accused Bax of saying that the Yankees were cheating.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that I heard that, but I mean, you might have alluded to it a little bit.
Well, it's only cheating if they hog that technology on these torpedo bats for themselves, and obviously that's not going to happen.
No.
And everyone's going to wind up using them. But the fact of the matter is, in these first 3 games, 15 home runs,
Right.
Including 9 in one game, 5 off the same pitcher.
Right.
This bat is going to change baseball.
I knew you were going to bitch and whine about that and be all
You did know
crybaby
that too,
about it.
didn't
Yeah.
you?
He's like, well, the win, and they're cheating. He didn't say cheating, but he didn't have to.
I didn't have to say cheating.
Yeah,
I didn't
because
say,
but that's what you were inferring.
what I said was, I asked the rhetorical question: how is this any different from, filling the bat with cork or rubber balls?
Well,
it's
I think it
not
is
because it has been proven to be within specifications.
Yes, there's and obviously this was a big topic of conversation over the weekend, and I guess there's a manual that lays out A, B, C, and D about what you can and can't do to a bat, how much remember when you'd see and they would have like the top end of the bat was hollowed out a little bit.
Right.
That can only go down so far, but all the Yankees did is they took mass from one part of the bat and moved it to the other. You called them a torpedo bat, which has been the best description that I've heard so far. It's almost like a bowling pin. It's got a big. It's just different in the barrel of the bat.
It's tapered and it's designed for the maximum contact, the most amount of weight at the point of contact.
Yes.
Which gives the ball a big lift. I mean, 15 home runs, that changes baseball. Steve and I were talking about this before.
Yeah.
For everyone who complains and bitches about how baseball games are too long, guess what's going to make games really freaking long?
Yeah, how long
bunch of
having
home
to run
runs.
around the bases
How
like
long
that.
was that inning when they scored? Well, how many? It was like, was it 20 runs?
They scored 20 runs in the game and hit like
was
they
9
went
home
back
runs.
to back to back
Yeah.
home runs. But it's like, listen, you guys should know better than anyone. It's not the size of the wand; it's the skill of the magician.
Is that what they've been telling you for the
That's
years?
what I think. This is a perfect example of that.
But it reminds me of when I used to play triple play baseball on PlayStation, where you could you unlock the cheat codes and you can get Babe Ruth to be like 280 pounds and 6 feet tall, and he's hitting home like he's got a perfect.
my
He's got
God.
300 home runs on the season. That kind of thing. That's exactly what's happening here. You got it's the cheat code.
Well, Bud,
but one that's legal.
Yes, one that's legal.
Yeah.
It's legal, but this is the kind of situation where a guy like an Aaron Judge could maybe hit 80, 90 home runs in a season.
Right.
Maybe even more. I mean,
Right.
who knows?
I mean,
who knows
when you
for
give
sure?
a guy, listen. First of all, the Yankees are a tremendously talented ball club, but when you give a guy like that and even any kind of an added advantage, whether it's and it's perfectly legal, you're just you're asking for trouble.
Since we're talking about baseball, we have to talk about the Red Sox.
Well, I was going to say, conversely, with the Yankees on top of the division, we now go to the bottom of the division where the Boston Red Sox sit.
How's the Red Sox doing with their duct tape gloves and pieced together wiffle bats?
They're currently in the basement at 1 win and 3 losses. But I think the big story here is this is not going to last. Things will turn around. But Rafael Devers is off to one of the worst starts in baseball history.
Yeah.
It's now in an historic level.
It's historic.
It is. I mean, what is it? It's 12 strikeouts in 16 at-bats.
He was 0 for 16, 12 strikeouts.
He has a 0.00 batting average at $27 million a year.
Mr. Devers has no great point average at this point.
Man.
Yeah,
brutal.
you know what? And I think, too, there's a lot, there's obviously a lot of layers with that guy right now. Listen, you can never say it's not just the fact that he's 0 for 16 with 12 strikeouts, because at least that's at this point it's historic. But there's something going on with him. This goes back to spring training where he showed up and the Red Sox went out and got Alex Bregman, a Gold Glove third baseman. They should, as soon as they did that, they needed to tell Rafael Devers that you are not going to play third base. You're going to be the DH. And it should have been, I think what did someone refer to it as just, tear the Band-Aid off and just put it on the table and get it out of the way. They didn't do that. Instead, they made this poor guy. I don't want to make any excuses for him. He's making $300 million and he's a Major League Baseball player. They dragged his butt all through spring training with not knowing where he's going to play, what he's going to do. All the media people were asking him every day, "Hey, so what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And if you look, and I don't know Rafael Devers. I've never spoken to him. I've never been in front of him. But his body language, he does not seem like a mentally solid guy. He's got kind of a very immature look to him, and this has just exacerbated a bad situation.
Well, I think they've kind of played around with this guy.
They played around with him, Bax.
But not just about the whole third base thing. They were doing this about his contract before. And think about how long it took for them to sit down with this guy and give him the contract that he earned.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot of money. There's no question about it.
And he earned for hitting.
He earned it for hitting. And I don't know if he's got the yips or if this is him taking his frustrations out or he's just off to a terrible start. But I don't think it's going to last. I do think it's going to turn around. But my God, how embarrassing is this?
It totally is. And again, you've got to sit there and look. Why did they let? It was a bad situation because you go out and get he's the best player on the team, and then you go out and you get a free agent who plays his position, and you play this mental game with him. They should have told him right. They knew that Bregman was going to play third base,
and they knew
that's why they got him.
And they had to know that he was going to be a designated hitter. They had to know this. They had to know this last year. He was going to be a DH.
And David Ortiz came to the Red Sox spring training camp and was talking to him and palling around with him. I mean, David Ortiz is one of the most beloved Red Sox ever. He's Dominican. He was a designated hitter, and I don't know, man. I just think listen, Devers has got to man up because this is what he does. He's a baseball player. He needs to man up. But a lot of the blame for this goes to the front office and also to Alex Cora for not being straight with him from the beginning.
So the Final Four, all 4 number 1 seeds?
Yeah, the chalk, man. We talked about this, 3 weeks ago.
I did 2 different sets of brackets. I did the Rock 102 one. I had Tennessee and Texas Tech in the Final Four, which is a 2 and 3 seed. But in the ESPN one, I had all 4 of the number 1 seeds. And I think if I'm kind of going back and forth, I picked Auburn to win it all, but after watching Cooper Flagg play
with Duke,
it's like how do you
not pick Duke?
How do you not pick Duke?
Yep.
That kid is unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
And to me, he's almost Larry Bird-like in his understanding of the game.
Yep.
Which is like freakish.
I can't remember the name of the Duke coach off the top of my head, but I mean,
Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, exactly. Duke is Mike Krzyzewski's not there anymore.
Nope.
Duke is doing this. The Blue Devils are doing it without him. This is big for that program. I was having and listen to be fair, UConn women are playing tonight. 2 number 1 seeds are already with South Carolina and UCLA are already in. UConn plays USC tonight, and I think it's Texas, a number 1 against TCU on the other side. So UConn's playing great. Paige Beckers had a huge game the other day to get them to this point. So, good luck to the Huskies tonight.
Patriots signed Stephon Diggs last week.
Yep.
It's a solid pickup. What I worry about is he's 31 years old. He's had ACL problems. They are committing a good deal of cash to a guy. If he's healthy, it's a great pick. If he's not healthy, it's a decent pick.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you feel about it. I feel good about it. I don't know if I feel great about it yet. It's kind of like a wait and see.
Well, here's kind of like a stat for you. Diggs got hurt, I think, in the 8th week of the season last year. Yeah, in October, and the numbers that he put up in the 8 games that he played when the Patriots signed him, he automatically became the top receiver in the room, despite the fact that all the guys in that receiver room played all of last year.
Yeah.
So if he can, he passed the physical, so he should be in good shape. And I thought it was a great pickup.
Also, we got to talk real quickly about the Celtics here. They've won 8 games in a row. They've won 21 of their last 25 games. They are absolutely on fire.
They are,
and it's the exact opposite for the Bruins. But it's
two
hard.
Two teams going in opposite directions.
Absolutely, but the Celtics are playing literally out of their minds, and still 4.5 games behind Cleveland. How you figure that?
Right. I was Cleveland's had a
tough
and is having a great year. I mean, I don't know whether the Celts. Let's see, what is there? 82 games, 81 games, 55, 65. Yeah, they're probably not going to catch Cleveland for the top spot in the East, but
they don't need to.
But they don't have to.
No, because once the playoffs are set and once they're seeded, it's a totally different season. But I mean, they're playing fantastic.
Yep, and 3 quick hockey notes. UConn hockey team lost in overtime yesterday to Penn State. They were 1 win away from going to the Frozen Four. Ditto for the UMass Minutemen. They lost on Saturday night 2-1 to miss the Frozen Four spot. And the Thunderbirds have won 3 straight games. They scored 2 goals in 90 seconds yesterday against Providence to win 3-2, and their magic number for the playoffs is 4.
Awesome.
All right, you're all caught up.
We're all caught up.
Oh, wait a second. Only 2 players use those bats in the game. So it's not even like the whole team is using those bats.
Well, they will.
That is not until
so you
today.
You can't sit there and get on your little soapbox on your view from the whatever the hell you do over there, and then say that when it's only 2 people that were using the bats.
2 people's 2 people.
2 people's 2 people.
Yeah,
when one of them's Aaron Judge.
You're so sure of yourself.
Come on now.
What time is it, by the way?
Well, look at the time now. It's 7:23.
Oh, I got it right. Yeah.
Scott Cohen, good to see you.
You too.
Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
Every roof comes with a Street Fighter algae-resistant warranty, keeping your roof looking beautiful longer. You always know what you're getting with Dave Miner. Get started at DaveMinerRoofing.com.
It's 7:26 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Liam Neeson has the forecast, and he has it, and he will tell you.
Will he fight Darth Maul before giving the forecast?
I think that might be one of the things you do. Yeah.
Hey, the Rock 102 Golf Club is back, brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. Get 7 rounds of golf, including cart, with no day or time restrictions to some of the area's great courses like Keeney Park, Brattleboro, Northampton, and many others for just $129. It's a great deal. It's less than $20 a round. You get yours now at rock102.com. Makes a great gift for any golf enthusiast that you may know. It's the Rock 102 Golf Club, brought to you by Swing Oil Beer Company. Try their New England IPA, perfect for the golf course. And Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Here's something that won't be in Hollywood trash. Richard Chamberlain He starred in Dr. Kildare. Mm-hmm. He died at 90. It's a shame when they go so young like that.
90. Really makes you think.
90 years old. Rich, the handsome hero of the 1960s series Dr. Kildare, who found a second career as an award-winning king of the miniseries, has died. He was 90. He died Saturday night in Wanamaha, Hawaii, of complications following a stroke, according to his publicist. And he was tall, with classic good looks and a romantic style. Chamberlain became an instant favorite with teenage girls as the compassionate physician on the TV series that aired from 1961 to 1966.
That wasn't until the teenage girls realized they didn't stand a chance.
That's right.
Now, he's 90. That's the thing that's freaking me out. It's like there are so many actors and actresses that I grew up watching that are in their 90s. Mm-hmm. It's unfathomable to me.
Why is it unfathomable?
Because when I think of like a Richard Chamberlain, I think of him like he's in his 30s and Shogun. That miniseries. That was a great miniseries. He was in that, or the other one he was in,
the Thornbirds.
The Thornbirds.
Yeah.
That's another miniseries he was in.
That was a hot one.
Thornbirds. He was dreamy as can be.
Yeah,
he's 90. How does that even happen?
He was the only one that could make a priest outfit look good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, he really did. He really did look good in the collar.
It's funny. Every once in a while, I'll hear of somebody passing away and go, "He was still alive."
I know.
You know what I mean? I just remember the scenes from. You obviously remember more of it because you're much older than me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just had to rub that in.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's not a surprise to anybody.
But I just remember seeing. I've obviously saw him on TV many times throughout different things that he did throughout the years.
It's like not that long ago, like Dick Van Dyke turned 100.
What? You can't say that.
What? Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah!
I can say Dick Van Dyke.
You have to say penis von lesbian.
Well, that guy. Anyway, he's 100, and as I'm watching him, walking around, he's ambulatory, seems pretty sharp, and I can't help but think, how long is this going to last?
I don't know. How long is it going to last?
I don't know.
I just saw a video with, I guess it was the granddaughter of Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah.
And he's like one of these guys he's in his 80s now, and he's just happy to still be alive. He has family here in Springfield.
His sister lives in the area.
We've talked to him before, and he's a pretty nice guy. But it's just one of those guys that you're like, you don't think about too much because you don't see him in a whole lot anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's in his 80s, for God's sakes. But it was the granddaughter said, yeah, we took my grandfather out, and people were recognizing him left and right, and he's just so happy to be even recognized. There's a guy that's like thankful, as opposed to some of these other Hollywood types that are just like, don't you know who I am?
I'm 99 years old, and I used to be a looker back in my day.
I don't know what was the better performance of Ed Begley Jr. Was it Walk Like a Man, or because he was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or Transylvania 6-5000.
That was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good in that. He was also good as Stumpy Joe, the drummer in Spinal Tap.
Oh, he was in Spinal Tap.
I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I most know him from St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
A very young Ed Begley Jr.
Also in Better Call Saul, another series you haven't watched yet.
I'm not going to watch that.
You should.
Well,
because it's awesome.
All right. Well, I'll give it a shot.
It's 7:31. News is next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western...
Speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Visit the 99 restaurants the day after the Red Sox win and get a free kids meal with every adult entree purchased. The 99 Restaurant, the official family restaurant of the Boston Red Sox. You gotta love the nines.
7:34 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Some good news. The Forest Park Zoo is open for the 2025 season. Yeah! Celebration included talks with zookeepers, animal encounters, and getting to see enrichment demonstrations. Western Mass News spoke with Sarah Sitzo, the executive director of the zoo in Forest Park, to learn what makes the zoo so special. Said, our zoo is not your typical zoo, so we don't have a typical zoo model, which means you'll see a few exotic animals here, but they have shifted away from that in the last decade. So, you know what? After that monkey escaped. That's what it was.
Yeah. I remember going to the zoo trying to look for the monkey. And
Dizzy the monkey.
So no monkey.
So now he's pretty much exclusively taking animals that have been deemed non-releasable by wildlife rehabilitators or others in the wildlife community. So these are animals that have 3 legs, maybe 1 eye, maybe have been orphaned or were confiscated as a legal pet. So the animals that live here for a very unique reason, and they all have really cool stories. How'd you lose that eye there, Lucky?
The seas were angry that day, my friend.
I got kicked in the face with a hoof.
Oh, that's got our sting, doesn't it?
Yeah. Got in a knife fight with a horse.
You should have seen the other monkey.
The zoo will be open on weekends only from 10 to 4 through mid-May, but then open daily April 12th through the 20th. What? Okay, there's obviously a missed thing in dates.
Listen,
here.
all you need to know is that the zoo is open, and if you want to check the hours, I'm sure Forest Park's got a website.
Yeah, but listen to the way they wrote it. The zoo will be open on weekends only from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. through mid-May, but will be open daily April 12th through the 27th. So is it happening right now that they're open daily or only open on the weekends?
It's a good question, Steve. I don't really have an answer for that. But it's a good question.
But Western Mass News is supposed to be getting answers from you.
Well,
or from them.
Not an answer to everything.
Yeah.
They can't answer all your questions.
Anyway, they're a nonprofit organization, so they rely on the community to be the partner. They've been here for 130 years. That's how long it's been around.
Yeah.
And they're really looking forward to bringing in a whole new generation of families. So, hey. It's a good little thing that we have here in Springfield.
I like a good zoo. You like a good zoo?
I haven't been to the zoo probably in about 10 years. I went to the one when I was up in Syracuse. The Burnett Park Zoo up in Syracuse.
Oh yeah,
they had a good. You know what? We went on a hot day. That was when my kids were really little.
Right.
And not a lot of action going on a really hot day with all those animals. You got gorillas just laying out there with their junk hanging out.
Mm-hmm. You know what's where a really good zoo is?
Where?
In Rhode Island, the Roger Williams Zoo. That is a good zoo.
Yeah, but you have to go to Rhode Island to get to it.
It's true, and I have no problem promoting the great state of Rhode Island.
I've only been there once, and it wasn't. I didn't see any animals, but they had that jack-o'-lantern display that they had going on there. That's actually pretty cool down there. You walk through the whole Roger Williams Zoo, and you can see some animals down there.
Yes, it's a great place to take the family. The Roger Williams Park Zoo.
A man faces a public indecency charge after police said he was caught masturbating in the parking lot of a Target in South Windsor.
Now, was he aiming for a particular target, or that's just where he was?
Right for the bullseye. I'm going to shoot it. Shoot it right there.
Yeah, that's you. That takes some talent.
Yeah. Police
some loft.
Police identified the suspect as 24-year-old Aaron Riley of East Hampton, Connecticut, not East Hampton, Mass. Although that's the kind of activity that goes on in that town, too, if you know what I'm saying.
It happens in every town all across America, just not at a Target.
They said they received a complaint about Riley on Thursday about 1:30 p.m. The report said a man was masturbating in that vehicle. That man tried to have sex with himself. Officers said they found Riley driving on Oakland Road and conducted a traffic stop. Following an investigation, they took him into custody. In addition to public indecency, they charged him with second-degree breach of peace. He was released on a $2,500 non-surety bond and given a court date of April 16th in Manchester.
Step out of the car with your hands up.
Let's go, Flappy.
Hey, Spanky McFarland, you have the right to remain silent.
I thought I was in the self-checkout lane. Sir, that's not that kind of scan and go. You gotta You got to read the signs.
I suppose.
You got to read the room that you're in.
I've never been so excited at a Target or to be in a Target.
Yeah.
That I felt like that was an activity that was necessary. Kind of like I never had ice cream that was so good that I want to do that in a parking lot while I ate my cone.
Well, everybody's got their favorite place.
I love ice cream. Don't get me wrong. I'm crazy about it, but not so much to say defile myself in the parking lot over it.
Yeah, you got to go to Flubber's Lane for that. You ever go to Flubber's Lane?
No.
It's a car park by yourself. Matter of fact, there's one near Coxsackie, New York.
Really?
That you can, I went by Coxsackie, New York the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
On your way to...
on the way to the Catskills.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would think that Coxsackie would be like near the Poconos.
Well, yes, there's another one there. There's another Coxsackie, Pennsylvania, near the Poconos.
Good to know.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a guy from down in Granby, Connecticut. Police are asked for help identifying the suspect who stole a significant amount of shrimp from Geisler's supermarket on Bank Street. According to police, an unknown white man entered Geisler's around 2 p.m. on Sunday and shoplifted a large amount of groceries, including shrimp. The suspect was described as having dark hair, a full beard, visible tattoos on both hands. He was wearing a gray Nike hooded sweatshirt and light-colored pants in the store. Police said he appeared to be around 6 feet tall. Authorities are asking if you know of this guy, you can contact the Granby police.
Now, how much shrimp did he take?
Enough for the clerk to say, hey, the ocean called. We're running out of shrimp. And he goes, oh, yeah? Well, I had sex with your wife. His wife's in a coma.
What, no cocktail sauce?
He should have went with Jerk Store.
He should have gone with Jerk Store.
Well, that was what the guy was doing in the Target parking lot. That was the Jerk Store.
And the cocktail sauce.
Yeah, right. These two guys should meet.
I'm mixing stories together.
Yeah, hey, listen, I like a lot of shrimp. I got a lot of cocktail sauce. The Jerk Store. Let's meet up. You're an unwelcomed guest at Target now.
Now I'm going to have to start shopping at Kohl's.
You're shrimping at the Geislers. Did you ever go shrimping at the Geislers before?
I have not. I've been to the Geislers. I've never gone shrimping there.
I think that's one of those Kim Kardashian things. Oh, my God, the last time I shrimped at a Geislers.
Or you're there buying fish sticks.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, fish sticks. Everybody loves the fish sticks down there. You shrimp and then you fish stick.
If you're doing it right.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be, I'm glad we got to the hard-hitting news this hour. It's going to be rainy today with a high of 63. Tomorrow, the pick of the week, sunny with a high of 51. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Cancer.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 749 and Skinnerd with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rain today with a high of 63. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield.
So you said before that there are only 2 Yankee players that were using those bats?
Yeah.
And everybody else was just like swinging for the fences?
That's what I was told by the New York Post.
The New York Post?
Yes.
Are they a reputable source?
I don't know. You read from it all the time.
I don't read from the New York Post.
Yes, you do. I've seen you read stories from the New York Post.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not a subscriber.
So what's your deal? What's your beef now?
I got no beef, really. Yeah. I'm just thinking, this is the kind of technology, the redesigned bat that could completely redefine baseball.
Because you're a bunch of Yankee haters. That's all.
Listen, the fact I hate the Yankees is almost immaterial. Let's say, for example, that it was the Kansas City Royals that got these bats. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's a mediocre team if ever there was one. But let's say all of a sudden they're knocking out 15 home runs in a single weekend. Well, I think everybody would be thinking, what the hell's going on in Kansas City? The Royals are not that great of a team. Well, because of the Yankees, I think everyone's looking and going, well, what's up with those bats? And can we get some? And I would like to think that other teams around baseball will be using those bats by midseason. And then you're going to see things getting launched like crazy.
What if it's not, though? What if it's like Scott said? What's his last name?
Cohen.
Yeah, that guy. What if it was like what he said? It's about the talent. It's about how you use the bat. It's not about the performance
Yankees,
of the bat.
The Yankees are a talented team, Steve.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. I am not trashing the Yankees.
Do Air Jordans make people better basketball players?
It didn't work for me.
It didn't?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So just because you have a different style bat doesn't mean you're going to do any better than the person who is.
They're saying that the design of this bat and the weight distribution, you have a better chance of cracking taters over the fence with the torpedo bat.
Here's some info. While the Yankees might use them the most, they and the Cubs are not the only teams with access to these torpedo bats. Multiple members of the Minnesota Twins, including Ryan Jeffers, use the bats. Blues Jays utility man David Schneider used one. So too does Rays infielder Juno Caminero.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So it's not just
Okay. Well, then let her rip. Let's see how this changes baseball.
Yeah. I was told to tell you to STFU.
Who said that?
People write in.
Who?
I got it on my messenger. It
on
said
your messenger.
STFU.
Really?
Yeah.
What person was saying this?
It was a female.
A female.
Yeah, that said that.
A lady.
Yeah, lady that said tell Bax to STFU.
Well, I didn't realize we were going to be talking to like potty mouth broads on the show.
Oh, is that what it is?
What it is.
Hey, speaking of, hold on a second here, because let's change the subjects because I'm done talking about these bats, and the Yankees are going to be great no matter what. They don't need to, they don't even need them. They're just using them because it's like, all right, let's try this new toy that we got.
Well, they got to do anything to pick up the slack from Juan Soto walking across the street.
I noticed you tying your shoes over there in the corner just before we went on the air.
Yeah.
What type of shoes are those? What is the brand on those?
These are Columbias.
Columbias. Okay.
Yeah.
But you do have New Balances, don't you? Don't you own those?
I don't.
You used to, didn't you?
I haven't had New Balances in years.
Okay. But, grandpa shoes are now in fashion.
Right.
GQ says that. So if GQ says it, then they must be,
The sneakers I wear are Hokas.
They just did
those are like big giant shoes for the wide-footed man.
They just did a big write-up on New Balance's latest offering called Allerdales. It's actually the second article they've done on them. They did one on the brown version a few weeks ago, and now the white version. They described the look as downright orthopedic. And there's nothing special about them. They're pebbled leather with normal laces and the New Balance logo on the side, but somehow they cost $250. A writer for GQ declared the brand has sidestepped the dad shoe trend and decided to bring the granddad shoe into the mainstream. So, taking the conversation with the bats, wearing these grandpa shoes, is that going to make you a more wise and significant person in somebody's life?
No.
Being the grandpa?
No. The shoes won't matter. What will make me wise is probably my lack of bladder control and some other levels of incontinence.
Well, that's where I was kind of going with that. I knew that was going to be the thing. A writer for GQ declared that the brand has sidestepped the dad shoe trend and decided to bring the granddad shoe into the mainstream.
If you really want to do like granddad shoes, you really want to do that.
Yeah.
Then you got to wear them with shorts and black socks pulled up to the kneecaps. Now you're looking like dad.
And mow your lawn in that.
You got to mow your lawn in that, right?
Like, you ever see those guys mowing their lawns in the plaid shorts and the what you just described, the dress shoes?
Yes.
Who's mowing their lawn in dress shoes?
Well,
what would cause you to do something like that?
There was a time not that long ago, a few decades ago, where that was the only shoe a man could wear was his dress shoe.
Yeah.
He didn't have a pair of Air Jordans. He just had the dress shoes. He did everything with the dress shoes. If he had to raise a barn, he'd raise a barn in his dress shoes. He had to grout a tub. Guess what kind of shoes he's wearing?
Dress shoes.
Dress shoes. Because that's what men wore. And what he wanted to wear, it's all he could wear.
I'm going to...
Because all of his money was going to his family, who were getting the zips and the Nike sweet red stripes.
I wonder if wearing these things like changes you as a person. Like all of a sudden you start wearing these grandpa shoes, you're going to start writing like a letter to CBS and angry about canceling Blue Bloods. I can't believe you took that hottie Bridget Moynihan off the TV.
The day you bastards canceled Sheriff Lobo is the last day I've ever watched TV.
And I'll start using the giant text on the iPhone.
On your Cricket.
Yeah, or getting a jitterbug from Walgreens. It's my jitterbug phone. I got to get the jitterbug phone. Now, look, I got a picture of my grandson on here. That's why I call him right away. He's on speed dial.
Hold on, where? I think it's in my pocket of my velour tracksuit.
Yeah, you're going to the airport. You're printing your boarding pass like a Neanderthal, right? And you say, I remember when, every time you open your mouth.
Hey, we got a great prize to give away. As we
I
know,
hope it's something from the Franklin Mint, because that's what I was looking forward to.
No, it's not. We talked to the folks from 52 Sumner, what was it, last week, the week before?
How about beer steins from Avon? Are we getting those?
No, we're not getting the beer steins from Avon. I'm getting my aftershave in a bottle that looks like a train.
Get out of my head, because the next thing out of my mouth was going to be, can you get me a bottle of Old Spice shaped like a lighthouse?
Chicago Total Access is coming to 52 Sumner on April 5th. That's this weekend. And we have a pair of tickets to the show, 293-1021, 10th caller wins those tickets. Great shows coming all summer long, and all spring and summer long at 52 Sumner in Springfield.
Oh, that rock and roll hogwash. Get me a can of mints.
What I wouldn't do for some Danny and the Juniors.
Get me some mints that come in a tin can.
Danny and the Junior Mints.
Danny and the Junior Mints.
They're quite refreshing.
They're coming along.
It's 7:57 at Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:11 and Bon Jovi with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be rainy today with a high of 62. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. And then the rest of the week, not so great. But,
we will get to giving away some Brimfield Brewfest tickets sometime this morning. It's going to be happening at the New England Motel in Brimfield, April 12th from noon to 4. Big event. We'll tell you all of the details about that a little bit later on.
I'm glad we don't live in one of these like really conservative states like Idaho. You know what they just did out in Idaho?
No.
Idaho Governor Brad Little signed into law a bill that criminalizes the public exposure of breasts.
This is an outrage.
It is an outrage. House Bill 270 updates Idaho's indecent exposure law, which already bans public exposure of genitals, to include female breasts, male breasts altered to look like female breasts, artificial breasts, and toys or products that resemble genitals. Breastfeeding is exempt, of course.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah. The bill takes effect immediately through an emergency clause. Little signed the bill last week, according to the governor's office legislation tracker. Supporters say the bill will protect decency and modernize Idaho's indecent exposure law. How many people are getting down and dirty in Idaho?
You know,
is that why they call it Idaho?
I don't know. You know, it's not like there's any beachfront property in Idaho where people going to the beaches and exposing their bosoms to the bare sun.
You don't have to have a nude beach. You don't have to have an ocean to have a beach. I mean, if you have a body of water out there.
Yes.
Opponents say it could unduly punish some Idahoans and that want to go out and be free.
You know, I don't know what the hang-up is. You know, we're like one of the only countries in the world that, for whatever reason, we got a big problem with boobies. And you know what? I don't understand it. You know, because
it's ridiculous.
If you go to, like, say, certain resorts, like in the Caribbean, for example. I've seen this a couple of times when I've been in, like, Bahamas or, wherever. There are people, mostly European, that will go topless on a beach. Well, it's not like, it causes a stir. It's not like it's a big deal. I mean, everyone's got them. I got them. You got them. We've all got them. And yet, for whatever reason, there are some people that are just bugged out about it. I say, if you got them, let them out. Let's. What's the mystery?
Hang out with your wang out.
I don't need to see genitals.
Oh, I just like that term.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But breasts are they are beautiful. They are life affirming. They the thing that feeds our children. I mean, I have no problem with this at all.
I told you, and I've years ago I did I was hired to be a DJ at a nudist camp.
Yes.
And, it was more about this is intriguing. And I didn't have to be nude. I was lucky enough that I could be clothed because nobody wants to see me naked. And frankly, nobody really wants to see people who want to be naked. It wasn't this thing where it's not a swingers club. There's a big difference between a naturalist and a swinger.
Well,
and even swingers don't walk around in the nude unless they're, back at the hotel, the double-jointed hotel room,
right
down by the airport. But
see, this is where we get hung up because you're absolutely right. This is when somebody is enjoying a topless moment in public. It's not out of any kind of sexual gratification. It's not for any titillation. It's not for any of that stuff.
Titillation.
But it's not for any of that stuff. It's for other reasons. And yet, when I have seen it on beaches, most of the time, like you say, the people that want to be naked probably are better off not being naked.
Yeah.
But they want to be naked. So my reaction is like this. Oh my God, they're naked. And then I go back to my book.
How many nude beaches have you been on?
In my lifetime, I have been they weren't nude beaches, but they were like international beaches where Europeans would go topless. Probably like 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen it in Jamaica. I've seen it in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I've seen it in St. Thomas and St. Martin. And I've been to the Bahamas and the Bahamas 3 times and Jamaica twice. So I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. You see it once, that's it.
Yeah, you don't really, it shouldn't bother many people, but it does. I think it's just the idea because we're so used to wearing clothes all the time. But again, I wouldn't be caught. Nobody wants to see me naked. You want an example of that? Get a troll doll. That's what I look like, without the hair.
I gotta tell you, since that procedure 2 weeks ago, I don't want to take my shirt off right now at all.
Is it growing back?
It's growing back, and I'm itching like crazy.
That could just be the crabs.
No, I don't have crabs. I don't have any body lice.
You don't know that. You don't know what they did to you while you were under that procedure.
I know exactly what they did, and they didn't leave crabs behind.
You don't know that. Little Baxy with the cubic lice.
There's nothing for the crabs to hang on to.
Well, there you go. That's right. If you don't have any hair, you don't have anything for it to hang on to. But you don't know what happened to you. Maybe they gave you a rash. You hear about all that dirty medical equipment from Bay State all the time. You don't know what you're getting over there.
No, but this would be like the last. There would be like no chance that I would go topless or bottomless at this point. Not right now. No.
When would you ever?
Never.
Yeah, right.
Even if I go to the beach, I still wear a shirt now.
Yeah. Here's the worst part of this bill. The bill would allow people to call police over dangling false scrotums hung on truck hitches, commonly known as truck nuts. No more truck nuts in Idaho.
You can't have faux balls out there?
You can't have the faux balls on the truck nuts out in Idaho.
But they're so much fun.
That's a disgrace.
Remind me never to go to Idaho. Not like I needed a whole lot of convincing, but remind me if I've ever if I've ever got to go for like an emergency meeting, remind me I don't want to be there.
This lady, they're gross, they're offensive, and kids on the road see them. So why wouldn't the police get a call and say, that offends me, pull it off the truck? Because now this bill will allow it. And I talked to police, and they said, indeed it would.
I mean, are you like one of these people that gets like offended when like a woman breastfeeds in public?
No.
Because I'm not either.
Who cares?
Well, kids got to eat.
Well, kids got to eat.
No, the kid is 17 and doing it. That's different.
It's none of my business, and it's not. That's not like some kind of turn on.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. There's nothing sexual about it at all. But there are some.
But there are people who do make that.
Who got a big problem with
I got a buddy.
We all got a buddy.
Yeah.
But there are some people that get so bugged out about it. Oh, that's gross. It's disgusting. No, it's not. It's life.
Yeah.
It's life. This is what happens. You have babies. They got to eat. And they got to eat right now. Otherwise, you'll be complaining because the kid will be crying. Can't you shut that kid up? Yeah, and if I do, you're going to be offended because I whip one of my breasts out.
Nobody cares about that. I don't care about that.
I don't care about it either. Some people do. I don't understand what the problem is.
I'll tell you what the problem is. People can't mind their own damn business.
That's true.
Everybody's got to get involved in somehow. So what if the guy wants to have truck nuts on the back of the truck?
Doesn't bother me.
You telling me that's the most offensive thing your kid has seen is a pair of testes hanging off the back of a truck hitch? Here's the thing. If you have one of those on the back of your truck, we all know you're a douchebag.
But it shouldn't have to be an illegal action.
That's what I'm saying.
To be a douchebag in public.
There's so many other offensive things out there that you can be offended. You can make yourself offended by anything. You just you need to stop doing that. And for all these people, this is like a staunch Republican thing.
Yeah.
They were the ones that were saying, hey, all these liberals are all offended by everything. Well, here we are. Talking about you're offended by a pair of rubber testicles that hang off the back of a truck. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
To me, the sign of adulthood and maturity is being able to accept that there are things in our lives that we may not want to see.
Yeah.
And letting it go. Not being that kind of person that's going to be in someone's face or, you've offended me. You know what? If someone's offended you, walk away.
Turn on pop radio. You know how many offensive songs are on pop radio?
Lots of them.
Yeah. And that's mostly the singing.
Yeah, but
it's not even the lyrics of the songs.
But sometimes confronting bad things in our lives are how we learn to deal with things in our lives.
But I think when you bring attention to it like this, you're actually creating more of a problem because people are like, yeah, you know what? I am offended by those rubber testicles that hang off the back of a truck.
There needs to be a law.
Yeah, but to me, it's like, I will look at you and I will make my own judgments quietly to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even tell you.
But you're not going to get out of your car and beat on the guy's window with
his
car.
Those things are offending my kids.
I'm triggered by those testicles hanging off your truck.
There's too much triggering going on. Just everybody relax,
That's all it takes.
Listen, in a world full of, I don't even know how I would put this, but just be a Karen Reed. Have as many drinks as you possibly can in one sitting and just let the world go by and say you're not responsible for anything.
Everything will work out in the end.
Everything will work out.
It's 8:22 on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:27, and Stone Temple Pilots with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
There you go. Liam Neeson has the full forecast for you. He will tell you. He will tell you.
This week, my guest on Baxy's musical podcast is Eve Barsley from the band Clem Snide. They're originally from Boston, but Eve is an incredible songwriter. Really powerful stuff. He's got a brand new record that's coming out at the beginning of May called Oh Smokey. He's going to be at the Warehouse in Somerville and also at Carnarvon in Southbury, Connecticut on April 10th and 11th. An amazing, amazing songwriter, and you can hear that interview on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify. the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the Rock 102 app. It's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Let's see. 2 people having sex on a grave site in Florida. Woman suing American Airlines after allegedly being forced to sit next to a man who pleasured himself for nearly an hour.
Did we do that story?
I think we did. The hijacker, right? Isn't that what we called him?
Yes, I believe he hijacked the plane.
Sometimes I think these are more than one story. You know what I mean? Like this could be,
another guy.
Another incident. A 34-year-old Wisconsin man was arrested after a female worker caught him on camera spiking her Coca-Cola at work.
Oh, that's not right.
Nope. A New Jersey mayor was arrested for drunk driving while her son was in the car on the afternoon of St. Patrick's Day. Well, how was I supposed to get to the bar? That's not a New Jersey accent. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's funny. Somebody posted on like the Holyoke City Forum on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like you're from Holyoke when.
Yeah.
And you always say, "Oh, you're going to you go to Holyoke Mall, or you go to like the Delaney House, or you go to Francie's or whatever." And I said, you're from Holyoke when you've blacked out for the entire month of March.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how you really know. When did St. Patrick's Day happen? When did that parade go on?
How did we skip February right into April? How did that happen?
You know you're a city councilor from Holyoke when you urinate behind a dumpster halfway through the parade. I'll catch up to you guys. Hang on a second. Nobody can see me except for the people up on the hill with the camera.
I'm looking for votes.
Yeah.
And the toilet.
Who wants to go to the polls, everybody?
It's 8:30. News is next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass.
Swift for power mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
8:32 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thank you, Bax.
You're welcome, Steve.
The Springfield Fire Department was at the location of a vehicle fire on I-291 yesterday morning. Springfield Fire Captain Drew Monty said that the department received a report of a vehicle fire of approximately 8:45 a.m. on Sunday. Crews were working in the vicinity of exit 1A on I-291 West to put out the fire. No injuries were reported. No lanes were closed as a result of the fire. The arson and bomb squad is investigating, and 22 News will probably not provide you with updates, even though they said they will.
Oh, no. The car has been set ablaze.
The dashboard has been melted.
Oh, no. That Crown air freshener is a total loss.
I'm thinking he doesn't quite care for that.
Probably not.
Well, his name doesn't pop up too often, probably because he told everybody, hey, don't put my name in the paper.
Whatever you do,
don't quote me.
Don't say somebody inside the department.
Yeah. Police in Granby, Connecticut are searching for a suspected shoplifter with a taste for seafood, a high taste for seafood. Pounds and pounds of shrimp were stolen from the Geislers. The police department stated they're looking for a man who loaded up a cart at the Geislers and left without paying. On Sunday at 2 p.m., they said he took a lot of groceries, specifically a significant amount of shrimp.
Now, did he order this at the seafood department, or these frozen bags of shrimp?
Could have been the frozen bags. I don't have the. We have the picture of what the guy looks like. He's described as having darker hair, a full beard, tattoos on both hands. He's around 6 feet tall. He sped off in a black sedan, and now police are working to track him down.
Probably smells like shrimp.
I was going to say, just look on Facebook and see who's having a cocktail party that would require a large amount of shrimp. You're not going to eat all that shrimp by yourself, are you?
I don't know how you are, but when I start eating shrimp, I can't stop. I just keep eating shrimp.
It depends on what they are. You know who's got really good shrimp cocktail platters is Costco.
Oh, yeah.
They actually make a really good one there. It's very fresh. But sometimes you ever get those little tiny ones that aren't that good?
The little tiny mini C ones. I don't like that.
I know they're cheaper, but they're not as good.
No. I want my shrimp to have some meat on it.
Yeah, I can't. You ever have a prawn?
Yeah.
Are they good?
Yeah, I mean they're a little tougher than a shrimp, but they're big and they're meaty. They're
more like a lobster tail, right? I would say. I've seen them
Yeah,
for sale
I
down
mean-
at Arnold's. I've never bought them, though.
I mean, I've not had them at Arnold's, but I've had prawn, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them. I probably couldn't eat a ton of them, but if you had a party, right, and you had like a shrimp cocktail, a shrimp platter,
Yep.
I am gonna mess that thing up, guaranteed. I don't care how many shrimp are on there. I would eat them all if I had the chance.
I don't know how much I could eat. I could probably eat maybe 10.
10,
10 big ones.
please.
What?
I'll eat 10 at a time.
With the cocktail sauce?
Sure.
I like making my own cocktail sauce. And that's not a euphemism for anything.
Yeah,
actually
I
like
bet it
making-
is, right.
Seriously, I like a little Heinz ketchup and
Horseradish.
Gold's horseradish.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
It's the good stuff, and you mix that because I can make it as spicy as I want. I don't like when you just get regular cocktail sauce and it's like they do it for the silly nannies out there that can't handle their cocktail sauce.
I think they still sell these things. My parents used to get them. They used to sell like shrimp cocktails in like a pre-made glass.
Oh yeah, what happened to those?
I don't know. My parents used to get those all the time. Not all the time, but on special occasions, they would go to the grocery store and they'd get them, and the shrimp are like right into the cocktail sauce, and you just go to town on them. I just love those things.
You know what they don't sell anymore? And now you spoke of that. I used to love those things too. And and then we'd wash out the glass jars and we'd have them as drinking glasses.
Yes.
In the house.
Yes.
Yeah. They used to do. There was a lot of. That was the neat thing about the glass, is that you could keep those.
Used to be a bunch of jellies that you could once you finish the jar of jelly, you had a drinking glass.
Oh, my mother had a whole collection of those Tom and Jerry. They were Welch's grape jelly.
Yeah.
In the Tom and Jerry cartoons or anything, and we
had those
them,
too.
And then we had them as cups. We also had, and I've mentioned this before, an entire collection of the McDonald's glasses that had all the lead in them that nobody could drink out of.
Yes.
And you had to call a hazmat team to get rid of them at the end.
I had in my possession years ago, and I don't even remember what gas station it was, but there used to be a gas station that every time you filled up, you got a NFL drinking glass with your favorite logo on it. So I had a bunch of them. They were Green Bay Packer, like low ball glasses. They were kind of those round, dark smoked glass glasses. But you had to go to a gas station to get them. Back when gas stations used to give stuff out.
Yeah. Speaking of which, remember Exxon had the tiger in your tank and they had the tiger tails?
I remember those.
Yeah. Why don't they do that anymore?
There used to be, before Exxon was Exxon, I believe it used to be Arco stations. And what Arco was doing, where they were giving out Noah's Arks with the little animals.
That's kind of cool.
So you
have your own little Noah's Ark thing?
Yeah. So if your parents are like driving a lot and they're blasting through gas, you could have like you could fill the whole ark with like animals 2 by 2.
That's pretty cool.
It was very cool.
Was that the original tanker? The original oil tanker was a Noah's Ark?
Well, I don't know how many tankers today are built by cubits, but I believe
what's a cubit?
I don't really know. It's something by something by something, but yeah, these gas stations used to sell Noah's Ark.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I wish we could bring back the giveaways.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
A former employee of Mars Inc. was indicted on charges that he defrauded the candy maker out of millions of dollars.
What did he do?
58-year-old Paul Steed of Stanford has a 9-count indictment. 9 counts? I don't remember being indicted 9 times. Returned against him for fraud and tax offenses, according to the acting U.S. State Attorney Mark Silverman. The indictment was returned on
Indictment,
Tuesday. Whatever. Steed was arrested on Wednesday morning. He faced a judge in Bridgeport and entered a guilty plea, but he was snickering all the way to the bank. You get it?
The Snickers, yeah.
The indictment claimed that between 2011 and 2023, Steed was employed by Mars Wrigley, a subsidiary of Mars Inc. He worked remotely from his home in Stamford. The indictment said Steed served as a global price risk manager for Mars Wrigley Global Cocoa Enterprise. As part of his employment, Steed was responsible for managing Mars Wrigley participation in the USDA sugar-containing products re-export program. Oh, he's an importer-exporter.
What's he importing?
Cocoa.
What's he exporting?
Cocoa.
Chips.
In approximately 2016, Steed created a company called MCNA LLC to mimic an actual Mars entity, Mars Chocolate North America. He then diverted millions of dollars in Mars assets to a bank account he set up in MCNA's name by directing sugar refineries purchasing Mars re-export credits obtained through the USDA Hey, it was a big elaborate scheme.
Yeah, no kidding. Sounds elaborate.
Yeah, well, I guess that's gonna catch up with you. It's the kind of indictment that melts in your mouth and not in your hand.
It's an indictment.
I believe it's an indictment in this case.
I'd rather not judge the guy.
Speaking of indictments, the man we talked about last hour. A man faces a public indecency charge after police said he was caught masturbating in the parking lot of a Target store in South Windsor. Well, I mean, when in Rome.
Yeah. But he wasn't in the Target.
No, he was in the parking lot of the Target. Police.
Does it make a difference?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, if you're doing that in the in-store self-checkout machine.
Yeah, that's probably not the best place to do it. I'd probably pick a more quiet spot.
Police identified the suspect as 24-year-old Aaron Riley of East Hampton. They said they first received a complaint about Riley on Thursday around 1:30 p.m. The report said the man was masturbating in his vehicle. Officers said they found Riley driving on Oakland Road and conducted a traffic stop. Following an investigation, they took him into custody. In addition to the public indecency, they charged him with second-degree breach of peace. He was released on a $2,500.
He was breaching his peace pretty good.
Yes, he was. That's what he was doing. And given a court date of April 16th in Manchester. I think inside the store, at least somebody's there to clean it up after you're done.
I just don't know what part of the store makes the most amount of sense.
I didn't think anybody could see me. Sir, you're in a Honda Civic with your dome light on and your nuts pressed up against the window. How did you think nobody would see you?
Even the windows aren't tinted.
Yeah. You ever see those kids put their mouths on the window and then blow? They look like they got a big blow face on the thing. That's what he was doing with his nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he was doing.
With a live, laugh, love sign he just picked up from Target hanging from the tip of it.
The tip of it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just the tip. Okay, I think we're done here. We have a guest coming up. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be rainy with a high of 63. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.